Welcome back to the Detail Garage. So today we have this Aston Martin DBS that rolled into our shop. It's black, it's really scratched up, and it's been washed really poorly. So we need to do a three-step polish. Before we polish it, we went ahead and we actually did a couple steps to get the surface prepped. We gave it a wipe down of EcoSmart, which removed all the dirt and dust. And then afterwards, we decided to clay the entire vehicle to make sure to remove all the contamination. You want to remove all the contamination so that when you're doing your three-step polish, you're not having any marring or poor polishing happening, and you actually get a true cut. So the cool thing is I laid out all my steps here. I have an orange pad with V34, I have a green pad with V36, and I'm gonna finish off with my white pad with V38. I'm gonna be using a TORQ 10 effects to complete all these steps, and my buddy Nick is also gonna help me because this car has a lot of surface area to cover. Cool thing is we're gonna do a couple 50-50 shots so you can see the before and after on this beautiful car and see how this black car shines. And to top it all off, we're gonna give it a coating of C9 so that this car is protected and gleaming like no other for about 2 to 3 years. So there's a couple tricks I wanna tell you when you're taping a car. To be extra safe, we wanna make sure this tape doesn't peel off any paint when it's been sitting for a little while. So a cool trick I learned is you'll break your tape off and simply just run it across your clothes. So what's gonna do is gonna pick up any lint and make sure the tape doesn't have a really high tack to it. And just like that, we're ready to start getting our 50-50. So I wanna prepare my pad. I'm gonna give it a little bit of pad conditioner. 2 spritz is all it needs to get this whole pad prepped. And then I'm gonna start with, like I said, the V34. V34 is a hybrid compound, so it's got a lot of grit and it's got a good amount of cut, but it's not too aggressive where I'll get a lot of micro marring. Very little is all you need. You just need a couple dots. Give it a good shake. About 4 dots will cover this surface area that I need. I'll spread it out nice and evenly and I'll go ahead and start working in on speed 4. So after doing our first step of polishing, I noticed that there's still a lot of major imperfection in this vehicle. And we are gonna be doing a coating, so I want it to look the best it could absolutely look. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna roll into my second step. To do that, I do need to pop my pad on and use some pad conditioner because it is a fresh new pad. And then I'm gonna use V36 polish. Again, it's the same amount of polish, just a couple dots will go a long way. And just like that, I have enough polish to do this section again. So just finished doing our second step and our second polishing round. Now I gotta roll in, okay, well, Nick's gonna come. So we just finished our second round of polishing and now I wanna drill up the paint. I wanna make sure to remove any little micro imperfections in this black car so that it truly looks like a mirror. The cool thing is that I have my polish ready for me and I have my pad conditioner. I have a white pad and I'm gonna give it a little spritz because I did get a new pad for this beautiful car. And it's the same amount of polish, just a couple dots. And now I'll handle this area. So I wanna make sure to stress that you break down each and every polish till it's about clear. The reason why is just make sure you don't get any hologramming or micro marring or any other little marks from a bad polish or not working it in long enough. So I'll spread it out nice and evenly and I'll go ahead and start working in on speed 4. And then we'll take off this tape so you can see the difference. So Nick and I are gonna go ahead and finish up the rest of this car. The cool thing is that since Nick is here, we're gonna be able to get it done pretty fast. You can see just taking 3 steps, even just in a test panel, could take a long time. So I'm gonna go ahead and wipe off this line so you can really get a definite vision of how it's gonna come out. Nick and I just finished doing a 3-step polish on this Aston Martin DBS. Got the black to really look black again. Sadly, Nick had a $5 box and he had to go to the restroom, so he's not going to be joining me for this end process. So obviously this car came in really thrashed, as you saw. The cool thing is that I want to add a protective layer that this customer really won't know, but it's going to add such a rock hard covering and protection that it's going to make it harder for him to even scratch the surface. So therefore, I choose Carbon Flex. What this is going to do is it's going to add such a good layer of protection that I could easily top it and wax over it for about 2 to 3 years to come. It's very easy to apply, and I already taped off everything for polishing, so all I got to do is just prep it, and all I need to do is take my applicator, take my micro suede towelette, give it a good wraparound so I have a nice surface, and then I'll open up my flex, and I'll make sure I don't spill it. So the way you do that is you put the applicator on the surface, and then you can flip the bottle. And just move the bottle side to side, flip it back, and now I have my application ready. So I'm gonna come over to the vehicle, and I'll simply do a line motion to apply the coating. Keep in mind, you just need a very thin layer to get the whole entire fender coated, and I could reapply as needed to get more surface. What I'll do is I'm going to let this cure for about 10 minutes. I'll go ahead and do some other areas of the vehicle, and then you'll see me buff it off. 2 days later, a customer brought his car back, and this Aston Martin DBS still looks wonderful. But there's a couple fingerprints, a little bit of water spots, and a little bit of dust from driving around town and showing off how nice this thing actually looks. So what I want to do is I want to give this coating a revitalization. I want to use Vitalize. What Vitalize does is it picks up where coatings kind of fell short. It adds a hydrophobic surface, and it also protects from any other outfall. So it's really easy to use. All you do is spray and wipe. I'll spray it, let it sit, give it a beautiful wipe down with my happy ending towel, and just make sure to buff off the haze. Now the cool thing about Vitalize is that not only does it revitalize your coatings, but it can be used for cars without coatings. So if you don't want to apply a coating, you could simply use Vitalize, and it's going to add that hydrophobic effect to your vehicle even without it. So to conclude this Aston Martin DBS detail, we started off with an EcoSmart wash, we went into the clay, and then we started doing a 3-step polish. With the 3-step polish, we started off with a orange pad and V34, and then we moved on to a green pad and V36, and then from there we went on to a white pad to drill up the paint with V38. After all of that, the car looked 95% better, and then we decided to coat it with Carbon Flex C9. That added a rock hard protection to this car, and as you can see, an unbelievable shine. So then, a couple days later, today as a matter of fact, I decided to give it a revitalization with our new C9 Vitalize. What that did is it got rid of all the minor dust and all the minor fingerprints and revitalized this coating to be truly hydrophobic. So to conclude, I'm gonna go home. Catch you guys later.